Hi friends, welcome to Data Science and AI Quest channel. In this post we will be discussing about the concepts of basic probability and sample space of events. So before proceeding we would be asking a question to ourselves: what is a sample space? A set S, capital S, that consists of all the possible outcomes of a random experiment is called as a sample space. I repeat, a set capital S that consists of all the possible outcomes of a random experiment is called as a sample space, and each outcome is called as a sample point. Often there are more than one sample spaces that one can use to describe outcomes of any experiment, but there is only one that will provide the most information. So if we toss a dice, then one sample space, which is a set of possible outcomes, is given by within curly braces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, while the other type of outcome that may come with regards to the tossing of the dice is either it could be odd or even. So it is often useful to portray a sample space graphically, and in such cases it is very desirable to use numbers in place of letters whenever it is possible. So if we toss a coin twice and use 0 to represent the outcome, that is tails, and use 1 to represent the outcome, which is heads, then the sample space can be portrayed by the points as in a coordinate system to represent over a two-dimensional plane. Then the relative positions of all the points is noted over the planar figure in the form of example, that is 0, 1, which represents tails on first toss and heads on the second toss. Then the next outcome, that is capital T and capital H, which would signify that heads over the first toss, tails over the first toss and heads over the second toss, and it would be represented as 0 and 1. And on the same lines, 1, 1 would represent heads on the first toss and heads on the second toss as well. So over here, if a sample space has a finite number of points, then it can be said that these points are called as finite sample space. For example, if we count the total number of outputs for an event of throw of a dice, then the outputs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, which means that the total number of sample points in the sample space are 6, which is countable and finite. Next, if there are multiple number of points, as there are numbers like 1, 2, 3 up to some infinite number, then these are commonly called as commonly infinite sample space, as the total number of points within a sample is uncountable and cannot be defined within the bounds of a finite sample. If there are many points, as there are in some interval on the x-axis, such as 0 up to 1 and x lies between 0 and 1, then it is called as non-countably infinite sample space, as the total number of points within this sample is uncountable and infinite, and this cannot be defined within the bounds of any proper sample space representation. A sample space that is finite or countably infinite is called as discrete sample space, while one that is infinite is called as a non-discrete sample space. So summarizing what we discussed in this post are: what is a sample space, how a sample space is represented, gave some examples of a sample space over where some outcomes of a toss of a dice are discussed. Then we assessed whether a sample space could be graphically represented in terms of the example, that is tossing of a coin. Then we discussed what is a finite sample space and how this finite sample space can be represented and gave an example. Then we discussed what is a commonly infinite sample space and how this is represented. Then we discussed some concept about non-countably infinite sample space, over where discretely or non-discretely lot of points could be seen as collected, but one cannot deduce how much points are there. Then we discuss something about discrete sample space and non-discrete sample space, and all of these things would be touched upon in a very elaborate manner in forthcoming topics. So this will be all this in this topic till now. So if you like this post and found it informative, then please press the like button and subscribe for forthcoming topics. And hence, thanks again for watching Data Science and AI Quiz channel. Thank you. Have a great day.